the champagne flute shattered. Zara Kane moved before the glass hit the marble floor, before the waiter could step back. Before anyone in the restaurant could scream, she crossed 12 feet in 2 seconds. Her shoulder drove into the waiter's chest. They hit the ground together, hard. His hand clawed for something in his jacket. She trapped his wrist as bones cracked. 2 men in suits lunged from a nearby table. The first swung a knife. Zara redirected his momentum, sent him crashing through a dessert cart. The second pulled a gun. She was already inside his reach. Elbow to throat. Knee to solar plexus. He dropped. 17 seconds. 3 attackers down. The restaurant erupted into chaos. Security finally arrived, shouting in Korean, but Zara was already looking at the man slumped in the corner booth, foam at his lips. Eyes rolling back. Min Jae-sung, Seoul's most powerful crime lord. He was dying. And she had no idea she'd just destroyed her own carefully constructed invisibility. 72 hours earlier. The shipping container was home. Zara sat on the edge of a salvaged cot, wrapping her knuckles for the night's fight. Through the rusted walls, she could hear Incheonport coming alive, container cranes groaning, ships bellowing in the fog, the industrial symphony of a city that never slept. She'd lived in 17 countries, 43 cities. This converted container in Korea's busiest port was number 62. 8 months. The longest she'd stayed anywhere in 4 years. Maybe that was the mistake. Her burner phone buzzed. Unknown number. She knew that number. "They're closing in on East Asia," the digitally masked voice said. No greeting. Never any greeting. "Satellite tracked 3 operatives through Taiwan. You have maybe 2 weeks." Zara stared at the phone. At the single duffel bag that held everything she owned. At the fake passport, the emergency cash, the always packed escape kit. She could be in Thailand by morning, Malaysia by tomorrow night. "Did you hear me?" the voice pressed. "I heard you." "Then move. Now." She ended the call. 4 years of running. 50 countries. 100 identities. She was so tired of being no one, of existing in the cracks between official records, of the constant calculation. How many exits? Who's watching? How fast can I disappear? For 8 months in Seoul, she'd almost felt human. She worked 3 jobs. Night security at a warehouse, weekend server at an upscale restaurant, and twice a week, she fought in underground matches for cash. The kind of fights where no one asked for ID, where blood on the canvas washed away with the morning. It wasn't a life, but it was closer than she'd gotten in years. Her second phone buzzed, the one for her legal jobs. "Zara, we need you tonight. VIP section, triple pay, can you make it?" She looked at her escape kit, at the window showing Seoul's glittering skyline. "I'll be there in an hour." Earlier that evening, the Lotus Club was old money and new crime, wrapped in Michelin star cuisine. Zara moved through the dining room in black and white, serving champagne to men in $10,000 suits. The man in the corner booth commanded the room without saying a word. Min Jae-sung, early 30s, custom Tom Ford suit. Watchful eyes that tracked movement the way hers did. 2 bodyguards flanking him, both with barely concealed weapons. She'd heard the whispers. Cheongryong Syndicate. The Blue Dragon. One of Seoul's most powerful organized crime families, generations deep. Arms, real estate, construction. Legitimate businesses hiding rivers of illegal money. She delivered champagne to the adjacent table. Felt his eyes on her. Not sexually. Analytically. He was calculating threat levels too. That's when her instinct screamed. The waiter approaching Jae-sung's table moved wrong, too precise, too focused. His weight was forward on his toes, ready to react, not serve. His right hand stayed close to his jacket pocket. Zara set down her tray. The waiter reached Jae-sung's table, smiled professionally, set down the champagne flute. Jae-sung reached for it. Zara saw the waiter's hand twitch toward his pocket, saw something in his eyes, confirmation, satisfaction. She moved. The glass exploded against marble. Zara's shoulder drove into the waiter's sternum. They hit the floor in a tangle. He was trained. His immediate counterstrike was textbook close-quarters combat. But she was faster. Always faster. She trapped his wrist mid-draw. He'd been reaching for a syringe, twisted his arm behind his back. Something snapped. The bodyguards reacted, hands on weapons. But the two diners at the next table were already moving. The first produced a knife from nowhere, slashing at her head. She ducked, rolled, used the fallen waiter as a shield. The knife wielder adjusted, came at her low. Zara caught his wrist, redirected his momentum into a dessert cart. Crystal and porcelain exploded. The man crashed through sugar sculptures and collapsed. The second attacker had his gun, halfway out. Too slow. Zara closed the distance before he could aim, elbow to his throat, crushing his windpipe, knee to his solar plexus, folding him in half. She stripped the gun from his hand, ejected the magazine, threw both in opposite directions. He collapsed, gasping. 17 seconds. 3 down. The restaurant erupted. Screaming. Chairs scraping. Jae-sung's bodyguards finally processing what happened. Weapons drawn. Shouting in Korean. But Zara was already at Jae-sung's side. He was convulsing, foam at his lips, eyes rolling back, poison, fast-acting, military grade by the smell, bitter almonds, metallic tang. Zara grabbed his jaw, forced his mouth open, checked his airway. To the nearest bodyguard. Call an ambulance. Tell them organophosphate poisoning. He needs atropine. Now! The bodyguard stared at her. Now! He scrambled for his phone. Zara positioned Jae-sung in recovery position, monitored his pulse, fading fast. She'd seen this before. Different poison, same lethal efficiency, different life, different person. Security finally arrived, 6 men in suits, weapons drawn, shouting. Zara raised her hands, stepped back. Jae-sung's eyes found hers, barely conscious, but aware. Calculating even in dying. He saw her, really saw her, that was the problem. The police questioned her for 6 hours. Zara gave them nothing useful. No, she didn't know the attackers. No, she didn't know why they targeted that specific man. Yes, her reflexes were good because she'd taken self-defense classes. No, she didn't have combat training. Lies wrapped in half-truths. The performance was automatic, second nature. They had no reason to hold her. Technically. She'd saved a life. They released her at dawn. She walked back to her container through Seoul's waking streets, every instinct screaming that she'd made a catastrophic mistake. She'd revealed herself. Showed capabilities no civilian server should have. In a restaurant full of phones and cameras, the man she'd saved wasn't just anyone. He was connected, powerful. Exactly the kind of person who'd ask questions. She'd survived 4 years by being invisible. Now she was a story. Back in her container, she pulled out her emergency kit. Passport, cash, contacts. She could be gone in 20 minutes. Singapore, Manila. Disappear into Southeast Asia's crowded cities. Her hands shook as she packed. She was so tired of running. The knock on her container door came at noon. Zara's hand went to the knife strapped to her ankle. She approached the door silently, looked through the security hole she'd drilled. A man in an expensive suit. Alone. Hands visible. No weapon drawn. She opened the door a crack. Wrong address. Miss Kane, my employer would like to speak with you. I don't have an employer. You saved his life 3 nights ago. He'd like to thank you personally. Zara studied the man. Professional, polite, but his stance, the way he held himself, ex-military, probably special forces. Tell him I accept his thanks. We're done. He's prepared to offer you employment. I'm not interested. The man's expression didn't change. He thought you'd say that. He asked me to tell you someone wants him dead badly enough to use military-grade poison. Professional assassins. Multiple attempts. His previous bodyguards are dead. Zara felt cold. And he thinks I can help with that? He thinks you already did, once. That's a better success rate than anyone else. The answer is no. The man nodded. Set a business card on the container's rusted floor. When they find you, whoever you're running from, you'll wish you'd taken this offer. Protection. Resources. Money to disappear properly. Think about it. He walked away. Zara picked up the card, thick stock, embossed gold, no name, just an address and a number. She should burn it. Instead, she put it in her pocket. Hold up. Before we get into this unbelievably messy story, I need one tiny favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Show some support for your girl, I'll really appreciate it. All right, thank you, let's jump back in. Later that evening. The underground fight club occupied a converted parking garage in Gangnam. 200 people circled the chain-link cage, shouting, betting, drinking. The air smelled like sweat, blood, and soju. Zara wrapped her hands in the fighter's corridor, focusing on the familiar ritual. Tape, knuckles, wrists, the methodical preparation that quieted her mind. This was her third fight of the month. Easy money, brutal but honest. No one asked questions in the cage. No one cared about names or papers or pasts. Her opponent tonight was a former Olympic wrestler. 6'2", 220 pounds. Sponsored by a local gym, probably being groomed for legitimate MMA. Zara was 5'9", 145. A nobody who showed up, won, and disappeared. The odds were 5-1 against her. The bell rang. He came hard and fast, trying to end it early with his size advantage. Shoot for the takedown, use his wrestling. Textbook strategy. Zara let him think it would work. She evaded his first shot. His second. Third. Each time, she was exactly where he didn't expect. She could read his tells. The shoulder dip before a level change, the head position, the grip adjustment. She'd fought men twice her size in situations where losing meant dying. This was just a game. But she held back. Kept it interesting. Let him get close enough to make the crowd roar, then slipped away. She couldn't afford to show her real speed, her real precision. People remembered dominance. People forgot close victories. Round 2, she started her offense. Leg kicks, body shots. Nothing flashy, wearing him down. His breathing was ragged by the 2-minute mark. Round 3, she ended it. He shot sloppy, exhausted. She sprawled, took his back, locked in the rear naked choke. He tapped. The crowd erupted. Some in celebration, most in anger at lost bets. Zara released him immediately, helped him up. Professional respect. The referee raised her hand. That's when she saw him. Min Jae-sung stood at the cage entrance, flanked by 2 bodyguards, watching her with those calculating eyes. He'd found her. Zara grabbed her bag from the fighter's room. There was a back exit through the old garage's service tunnel. She could be gone in 90 seconds. But Jae-sung was already in the corridor, blocking her path. His bodyguards hung back, giving them space. She calculated, 15 feet to the nearest exit. 2 armed men between her and freedom, dozens of witnesses. Not ideal. Miss Kane. His English was perfect, barely accented. We need to talk. Nothing to talk about. Congratulations on surviving. Have a good life. She moved to step around him. One of his bodyguards shifted to block her. Jae-sung raised a hand. The man backed off. Please, 5 minutes. Zara studied him. He'd recovered well from the poisoning. 3 days and he looked healthy. Strong genes or excellent medical care? Probably both. Fine. 5 minutes. He gestured to a side room. She stayed near the door. Jae-sung kept his distance, reading her body language correctly. I want to hire you, he said directly. No preamble. As what, entertainment? She kept her voice flat. I saw your world at that restaurant. I don't fit in it. As my bodyguard. She actually laughed. You have bodyguards. 2 outside this door. Probably a dozen more in your organization. They failed me 3 times. You succeeded once. That's a better ratio. Get better guards. I did, all professionals. Military backgrounds, years of experience. All dead or disappeared or bought off. He stepped closer. Someone wants me dead. Someone with resources, patience, and inside information. Traditional protection isn't working. And you think I can help because I tackled a waiter? I think you can help because you identified a military-grade poisoning in under 3 seconds, executed a perfect tactical response to multiple armed attackers, and did it all with reflexes I've only seen in special operations soldiers. His eyes locked on hers. So, no. Not because you tackled a waiter. Silence hung between them. I'm not special ops, Zara said. I know, I checked. You don't exist in any military database. You don't exist anywhere. He pulled out a tablet, showed her a document. My people are very good at research. They've cracked government databases in 5 countries. Your background is completely blank. No birth certificate, no immigration record, no credit history, no school records, nothing. Zara's pulse quickened, but her expression stayed neutral. Maybe you have bad researchers. Or maybe you're exactly what I need. Someone with no ties to the Korean underworld. Someone who can't be bribed because they have no official existence to threaten. Someone who can't be bought because they're already a ghost. Maybe I'm a ghost for bad reasons. I don't care. Blunt. Honest. Whatever you're running from, whoever you're hiding from, I can offer you protection. Resources, money. $2 million for the 6-month duration. Private housing. Full legal protection through my organization. Zara's mind calculated. 2 million American dollars. Safe housing was worth more. Legal protection, that was dangerous. It meant entanglement. Visibility. No. 3 million. It's not about money. Then what is it about? She met his eyes. I don't want to be found. Working for you means being visible. Being seen. That's the last thing I need. Jae-sung was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was softer. I understand running. I understand hiding. But there's a difference between existing in shadows and living in a cage. He gestured around them. This, fighting for cash, sleeping in containers, moving every few months, this isn't living. It's surviving. Eventually, whoever you're running from will find you anyway, and when they do, you'll be alone. No backup, no resources. I've been alone for 4 years. I'm still here. For how long? Another year? 2? He stepped closer. Work for me for 6 months. Save enough money to disappear properly. Build a real exit strategy, not just running. And if they find you in the meantime, you'll have an entire syndicate backing you instead of facing them alone. Zara wanted to say no. Every instinct screamed to say no. Attachment was danger. Visibility was death. She'd survived by being no one. But she was so tired. 1 month, she heard herself say. Trial period. And I have conditions. Name them. No questions about my past, no fingerprinting, no photographs, no official records that tie me to you. Agreed, but I will run a background check. That's non-negotiable. She almost smiled. Good luck with that. If you prove useful after 1 month, we renegotiate terms. Fair? She should walk away, should run to the port right now and book passage on the first cargo ship leaving Korea. But the exhaustion was deeper than physical. It was soul deep. The exhaustion of being no one, of trusting no one, of the constant vigilance that never, ever stopped. 1 month. She could survive anything for 1 month. Deal. The Chonggryong Syndicate headquarters was a revelation. From the outside, it looked like a cultural preservation site. Traditional Hanok architecture, low curved roofs, elegant wooden structures, surrounded by stone walls and manicured gardens. A historical landmark. From the inside, it was a fortress. Zara arrived at dawn with her single duffel bag. Everything she owned fit in 30 pounds. The outer gate looked wooden, but was reinforced steel. The decorative walls concealed cameras and sensors. The peaceful gardens had clear sight lines and strategic positions, beautiful camouflage for a military installation. A man waited in the main courtyard, late 30s, severe expression, expensive suit. He looked at Zara like she was a problem he hadn't anticipated. Park Sang-woo, he introduced himself in English. Second in command. I'll be your direct supervisor. Zara Kane. I know who you are. I'm the one who ran your background check. His tone made it clear what he thought of the results. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's either impossible or highly suspicious. Maybe I'm just boring. Boring people have birth certificates. He gestured for her to follow. The boss wants you on 24/7 protection detail. You'll shadow him everywhere. All meetings, all appointments, all travel. You'll sleep in the adjacent apartment suite. You're essentially his shadow. Sounds invasive. It's how we keep him alive. 3 attempts in 2 months. Professional hits. The last one nearly succeeded. They walked through the compound. Traditional exterior, modern interior. Hardwood floors over concrete reinforced with steel. Paper screens hiding bulletproof glass. Every design choice balanced aesthetics with security. There are 47 syndicate members on site, Sang-woo continued. 12 with executive access. You'll meet the key players today. Weekly threat assessment meetings are Wednesdays. Your clearance level is yellow, mid-tier. Enough to do your job, not enough to access sensitive information. Do I get a weapon? After you prove yourself. For now, your observation and intervention only. He stopped, faced her directly. I'm going to be honest. I think this is reckless. You're a foreign national with no credentials, no verifiable history, and no experience we can confirm. The boss is making a decision based on instinct, and instinct gets people killed. Noted. If you fuck this up, if you're a plant, if you endanger him in any way, I will end you. Personally. Understood? Zara met his eyes, saw the genuine threat, the protective loyalty. Understood. Good. Now let's meet the family. The main hall was traditional opulence. Low tables, floor cushions, calligraphy scrolls on the walls. 8 people sat in a semicircle waiting. Jae-sung at the center, the others arrayed by importance. This is Zara Kane, Jae-sung introduced her. My new personal security. The reaction was immediate and varied. A man in his 30s sneered. Similar features to Jae-sung. Cousin, probably. This is your solution? A foreign woman with no credentials? You've lost your mind. Cousin Day One. Jae-sung's voice was pleasant but edged. She saved my life when your recommended security firm failed to identify 3 attackers in a public restaurant. I'm comfortable with my decision. Day One's sneer deepened, but he said nothing. An elderly man, 70 at least, studied Zara with sharp eyes. Traditional hanbok, weathered hands, the bearing of someone who'd seen violence and survived. Interesting choice, he said in English. Very interesting. Elder Kwon is my godfather, Jae-sung explained. Advisor to my grandfather and to me. Kwon continued watching her. Zara felt his gaze like a physical weight. He was reading her the way she read threats. Professional assessment. A woman in her 40s, impeccably dressed, watched with cold calculation. Lee Mi-sun, financial operations. Her English was crisp, accent British educated. I hope you understand that representing this organization requires certain standards. Don't embarrass us. The subtle racism wasn't even subtle. Zara kept her expression neutral. She'd heard worse, survived worse. I'll do my best. The rest of the introductions blurred. Through it all, Dae-won kept glaring. Elder Kwon kept studying. Mi-sun kept judging. And Jae-sung kept watching her watch them. The background check came back empty, Sang-woo reported, standing beside Jae-sung. Completely empty. This is unprecedented. I know, Jae-sung said calmly. She could be anyone. A spy. A plant. A threat we can't identify. She could be, or she could be someone who needs protection as much as I do. He stood, addressed the room. Zara Kane is under my personal protection. Any threats against her are threats against me. Any disrespect shown to her is disrespect shown to me. Make sure everyone understands that. Silence. Daewon stood abruptly. You're choosing a stranger over family concerns, over common sense. This will end badly. Your concern is noted. Meeting dismissed. The room emptied slowly. Hostile glances, suspicious murmurs. Only Elder Kwan lingered, still watching Zara with those sharp, knowing eyes. Walk with me, he said to her, not a request. Elder Kwan led Zara through the gardens. Traditional stone paths wound between carefully pruned trees and koi ponds, beautiful, peaceful, the kind of place where people discussed life and death with equal calm. You move like a soldier, he said without preamble, but not Korean military, not American either. Something else, something specific. Zara said nothing. I'm old. I've seen many things. During my time in intelligence, before I joined this family, I encountered operatives with your particular efficiency, very rare, very dangerous. I don't know what you're talking about. Perhaps, or perhaps you've forgotten, or perhaps you were trained to forget. He stopped beside a small bridge. Below, koi swam in lazy circles. There are organizations that create ghosts, real ghosts. People with no past, no records, no existence beyond their training. I've only encountered 3 in my entire life. Zara's pulse quickened, but her face remained calm. Sounds like fiction. Fiction that just tackled 3 armed men in 17 seconds. He smiled. It wasn't unkind. I won't pry. Everyone has their reasons for becoming invisible. But understand, Jae-sung is important to me, more important than my own life. If you're here to harm him, I will know. And I will stop you. I'm not here to harm him. Then we have no problem. He turned to go, paused. That cousin of his, Daewon, he's ambitious, jealous. He sees you as a symbol of Jae-sung's weakness, not strength. Watch him carefully. I watch everyone carefully. Elder Kwan smiled again. Yes. I imagine you do. He walked away, leaving Zara alone by the koi pond. She stared at her reflection in the water. Fractured. Distorted. 1 month, she reminded herself. Survive 1 month. Get paid. Disappear properly. Don't get attached. Don't let them see you. 1 week into her employment, everything erupted. The family council met at a traditional estate outside Seoul. Sprawling grounds, multiple buildings, the ancestral home of the Cheongryong Syndicate's founding family. Every branch family sent representatives. 23 people total. The power structure of one of Korea's oldest criminal organizations. Zara stood against the wall in the main hall, eyes tracking movement, calculating threats. Jae-sung sat at the head of the low table, flanked by Sang-woo and Elder Kwan. The meeting started with business. Construction contracts, real estate investments, money laundering disguised as legitimate commerce. Billions of won flowing through shell corporations and legitimate businesses. Then Daewon struck. I'd like to address a security concern. He stood, commanding attention. Our leader has become paranoid. 3 assassination attempts have him so rattled that he hired a foreign woman with no credentials, no verifiable background, as his personal bodyguard. This shows weakness, instability, poor judgment. Murmurs around the room. Some agreeing, some watching Jae-sung for reaction. I'm quite comfortable with my decision, Jae-sung said calmly. Are you? Because I'm not. None of us are. Daewon gestured to the other families. You've brought an unknown element into our most secure locations. Someone who could be working for anyone. Police, rival syndicates, foreign intelligence. We know nothing about her. She saved my life. Once. By accident. Maybe. We don't actually know her motives. Daewon turned to the room. I propose a vote of no confidence unless our leader can prove his bodyguard is qualified for this position. The room exploded with reactions, support, opposition, argument. Elder Kwan raised a hand. Silence fell immediately. Daewon raises a legitimate concern, the old man said carefully. Trust must be earned, especially in matters of leadership security. I propose a demonstration. Jae-sung's jaw tightened. What kind of demonstration? Let her face 3 of Daewon's personal security team. Combat demonstration. If she's truly qualified, she'll prove it. If not, he shrugged. Perhaps Daewon's concerns are valid. The room buzzed with interest, bloodsport disguised as practicality. Daewon smiled. I accept those terms. Every eye turned to Jae-sung. Political trap. If he refused, he looked weak, protective of an unqualified bodyguard. If he accepted and Zara lost, he lost face and political capital. If she won. But that required her to win against 3 trained fighters. The decision is Miss Kane's, Jae-sung said quietly. All eyes shifted to Zara. She stepped forward, read the room, the politics, the trap. Daewon wanted to humiliate Jae-sung publicly, undermine his authority. This wasn't about her qualification, this was about power. I accept, she said clearly. When and where? Daewon's smile widened. Now, the courtyard. 3 of my best men. Continuous engagement. You win by incapacitation or submission. And if I win, no more challenges to your position for 90 days. If I lose, you're fired, and my cousin steps down as leader. The room went silent. Daewon had just raised the stakes catastrophically. This wasn't just about a bodyguard anymore. This was a leadership challenge. Jae-sung stood. Those terms are acceptable, Zara interrupted. She looked at Jae-sung. Trust me. He searched her eyes, saw something there, nodded slowly. The courtyard in 10 minutes, Elder Kwan announced. All family members may witness. 23 people formed a circle around the space. Betting was already happening, odds strongly against Zara. 3 men entered. Daewon's personal security. First was massive, 6'3", 240, former ROK Special Forces by his bearing. Second was lean, quick, Muay Thai stance. Third was medium build, moved like water, Krav Maga probably. All 3 were professional, well-trained, dangerous. They also assumed she'd be easy. Mistake. Zara stood in the center, dressed in black athletic wear. No protective gear, no weapons. Just her. Elder Kwan acted as referee. Combat until submission or incapacitation, no killing blows, no permanent injury. Begin when ready. Daewon smirked at Jae-sung, already tasting victory. The 3 fighters spread out, surrounding Zara. Standard pack tactics. They'd coordinated before, worked together. This wasn't their first group engagement. Zara tracked all 3 simultaneously, read their stances, identified the leader, Special Forces guy, slightly ahead, more confident. He'd engage first. Muay Thai would flank right. Krav Maga would hold back, looking for openings. Special Forces moved first, fast for his size semichi mimba shimambimba sai. Shoot for a takedown, use his weight advantage. Zara was already gone. She sidestepped, used his momentum against him. As he passed, she struck. Precise blow to his floating rib. Pain, but no real damage. He grunted, spun. Muay Thai came from her right. Roundhouse kick, powerful, aimed at her head. She ducked under it, caught his supporting leg mid-kick, swept him. He crashed hard but rolled immediately. Professional recovery. Krav Maga attacked from behind, silent, efficient. Zara sensed him more than saw him, dropped low, his strike passed overhead. She struck his knee, not enough to break, enough to buckle. He stumbled. 5 seconds. 3 attacks countered. They regrouped. more cautious now. Realized she wasn't a civilian playing warrior. They came together. Coordinated assault, Special Forces high, Muay Thai low, Krav Maga from the side. Zara moved like water, like smoke. She was never where they expected. Every strike found air, every grab closed on nothing. She led them toward the koi pond. Deliberate positioning. Special Forces rushed her, frustrated. She redirected his momentum straight into the pond. He crashed through the surface, soaking wet, sputtering. Muay Thai hesitated, checking on his partner. Mistake. Zara was on him. Lightning combinations, solar plexus, nerve clusters, pressure points. He folded, gasping, unable to breathe properly. She could have destroyed him. Chose not to. Controlled force. Professional restraint. He submitted, tapping frantically. Krav Maga guy was smart. He backed off, hands raised. I yield. He'd read the situation correctly. She could take him. No question. 47 seconds. 3 opponents neutralized. The courtyard was absolutely silent. Zara stood in the center, barely breathing hard. She looked at Daiwan. 90 days, no challenges. Daiwan's face was purple with rage and humiliation. Elder Kwan stepped forward. The demonstration is complete. Miss Kane has proven her qualification. He looked around the circle. Does anyone dispute this? Silence. Then the matter is settled. The crowd dispersed, buzzing with conversation. Odds had just shifted dramatically. Money had changed hands. Respect, grudging but real, had been earned. Jae Sung approached. You held back. Of course. Why? Because humiliating them completely would make permanent enemies. This way, they know I could have. That's enough. He studied her. Where did you learn to fight like that? I thought we had an agreement. No questions about my past. We do. But watching you move... He paused. Elder Kwan was right. You fight like a ghost. Zara said nothing. Whatever you are, whoever trained you, I'm glad you're on my side. She wanted to tell him, wanted to explain that sides were temporary, that she'd been a weapon for organizations that didn't care about right or wrong, that ghosts didn't have sides, only contracts. But she didn't. 90 days, she said instead. Then we renegotiate. 2 weeks later, everything changed again. The annual charity gala at the Shilla Hotel was theater. Seoul's elite, old money, new tech billionaires, politicians, celebrities, mingled with the underworld in designer gowns and $10,000 tuxedos. Donations to orphanages and cancer research, champagne and carefully orchestrated ignorance. Everyone knew who funded half the charity work. Nobody mentioned it. Zara stood in front of the mirror in her assigned room at the compound, barely recognizing herself. The dress was black silk. Elegant and understated, custom-fitted, concealed holsters sewn into the lining, a small knife strapped to her thigh, earpiece disguised as jewelry. Her hair was professionally styled, makeup applied by someone who knew how to enhance without transforming. She looked expensive, polished, like she belonged. The woman in the mirror was a stranger. Ready? Sang-woo knocked, entered without waiting. He looked her over, nodded approval. You clean up well. Remember, you're the boss's executive assistant tonight. Bodyguard would be too obvious. Stay within 10 feet of him at all times. Smile politely. Say nothing controversial. I know how to play a role. Do you? His eyes were sharp. Because the last 2 weeks you've been impressive. Almost too impressive. Makes me wonder what other roles you've played. 90 days, no challenges. That was the deal. The deal was about your position, not about my suspicions. He handed her a small clutch purse. Phone. Emergency beacon. Credit card under the name on your fake ID. Try to blend in. She took the purse. Sang-woo, do you ever stop being suspicious? No. That's why I'm still alive. Fair point. The grand ballroom was opulence embodied. Crystal chandeliers, orchestra playing classical Korean music, ice sculptures, tables laden with delicacies, 500 people networking, schmoozing, calculating advantages. Zara entered 3 steps behind Jae-sung, playing her role, the professional assistant, invisible until needed. But she wasn't invisible. Heads turned. Whispers followed. The exotic curiosity. The unexpected presence. A black woman at Seoul's most exclusive event, attending to the city's most notorious crime lord. She felt every stare, every judgment, every microaggression wrapped in politeness. A socialite approached, dripping diamonds. "Oh my, Jae-sung, is this your new assistant?" The pause was deliberate, loaded. "Yes, Miss Kane is invaluable to my operations." "I'm sure she is." The woman's smile was sharp. "Are you a singer? A model? You must be so talented." Zara recognized the game. The assumption that her only value was performance or appearance. "I'm in security and operations management." "How exotic." The woman touched her arm, proprietary, invasive. "You must tell me. Where are you from originally?" "Chicago." "But originally. The woman's fingers squeezed. "Africa? Your people have such fascinating cultures." Zara felt her jaw clench, wanted to break the woman's wrist, show her exactly how fascinating violence could be. Instead, she smiled. "My people are from everywhere, just like yours. Excuse me." She moved away before her control slipped. Jae-sung caught up to her at the champagne table. "I apologize for—" "Don't. You didn't say it." "She did." Zara accepted a glass, didn't drink. "This is your world, I'm just visiting." "It doesn't have to be this way." "Yes, it does. I'm different here. Foreign." "That's not going to change because I wear an expensive dress." More encounters, more casual racism disguised as curiosity. A business partner's wife who touched her hair without asking. A politician who spoke slowly and loudly, assuming she didn't understand Korean. A tech CEO who asked if she was exotic entertainment for the evening. Jae-sung intervened on that one. Cold. Direct. "She's my executive assistant and under my personal protection. Show respect or leave my table." The man left. But the damage was done. Death by 1,000 cuts, each comment small enough to excuse. Collectively devastating. Zara excused herself, found the balcony, needed air that didn't smell like expensive perfume and casual cruelty. The Seoul skyline glittered below. Beautiful. Cold. Indifferent. "They're intimidated by you." She turned. Elder Kwan stood in the doorway, holding 2 glasses of whiskey. He offered her one. "They have a strange way of showing intimidation. Fear often masquerades as dismissal." He joined her at the railing. "You're something they can't categorize, can't control, so they try to diminish you, make you smaller, more comfortable for them." "You're very observant." "I'm very old. I've seen this pattern many times." He sipped his whiskey. "I told you before, you move like someone with very specific training. Very rare. I've narrowed down the possibilities." Zara's pulse quickened, but her expression stayed neutral. "Have you?" 3 organizations in the world produce operatives with your particular skill set. One was dismantled 20 years ago. One only operates in Eastern Europe. The third— He paused. "The third officially doesn't exist. Never did. Project Echo." She said nothing. Couldn't. "I worked intelligence for 15 years before joining this family. I encountered many secrets. Project Echo was one of the deepest." His eyes found hers. Orphans with no family ties, trained from adolescence, deployed for missions requiring complete deniability. No bodies, no evidence, no survivors. Each operative designated by number. The balcony suddenly felt very small. "If such a program existed," Zara said carefully, "it would have been shut down. Everyone involved would have been retired or eliminated." "Yes. Officially it was dissolved 8 years ago, all records expunged, all operatives retired. He emphasized the word, knew what it meant. But what if one didn't accept retirement? What if one ran instead? Silence stretched between them. The city hummed below. "Why are you telling me this?" Zara finally asked. "Because Jae-sung is important to me, more important than life itself. And I need to know, are you a threat to him? No. Then we have no problem. Your past is your business. Your present is mine. As long as those don't conflict, I'll keep your secrets." He set down his glass. "But understand, if Project Echo or whatever remains of it comes looking for you, it will endanger everyone here. Jae-sung, Sang-woo, the entire family. Are you prepared for that consequence? I've been running for 4 years. They haven't found me yet. Korea is small. Eventually they will. When they do, what happens?" Zara had no answer. Elder Kwan nodded slowly. "Something to consider." He walked to the door, paused. "For what it's worth, I think you're good for him. He's been isolated since his brother's death. Paranoid. Alone. You've given him something to protect besides himself. That's valuable." He left. Zara stood on the balcony staring at the city, feeling the walls closing in, 4 years of perfect invisibility unraveling in 3 weeks. She should run. Right now. Disappear before movement in her peripheral vision. A photographer, wrong position, wrong equipment, wrong everything. Her instincts screamed. He was positioned near the service entrance, professional camera with telephoto lens. But his stance was wrong. Too tense, too focused. Surveillance, not journalism. Zara moved smoothly through the ballroom, tracking him. He was photographing Jae-sung, repeatedly, different angles, timestamps, patterns of movement. Intelligence gathering for an operation. The photographer noticed her noticing. His eyes widened. He turned, heading for the service corridor. Zara followed. Casual. Unhurried. Just another guest stepping away. The corridor was empty. Industrial. The backstage of opulence. He was fast walking. Almost running. Reached for something in his jacket. "Stop," Zara said. Clear. Commanding. He spun. Not a weapon. A phone. Calling for backup or destroying evidence. She closed the distance in the 3 strides, grabbed his wrist, twisted. The phone clattered to the floor. She kicked it away, pushed him against the wall. "Who hired you?" "I don't know what." She applied pressure to a nerve cluster. Pain, not damage. "Wrong answer. Who? Hired? You. Contractor, third party. I don't know names." "What were you photographing?" "Movement patterns, schedule, security positions. I was just supposed to—" Footsteps. Multiple people approaching. Sang-woo appeared with 3 security personnel. Took in the scene instantly. "Problem?" "He's been documenting Jae-sung. Surveillance for something bigger." She picked up the camera, handed it to Sang-woo. "Check the images." Sang-woo scrolled through. His expression darkened. "Boss at multiple times, different locations. This is target reconnaissance." "There's more." Zara grabbed the photographer's jacket, pulled out a folded paper. Blueprint. The compound layout. Guard positions. Entry points. Someone had provided internal intelligence. The mole wasn't just leaking information. They were actively planning something. "Who gave you the security details?" Zara demanded. "I don't know. Everything came through encrypted messages. I just followed instructions." Sang-woo signaled his men. They secured the photographer. "We need to tell the boss. Now." Back in the ballroom, Zara pulled Jae-sung aside, showed him the blueprint, explained the surveillance. His expression stayed calm, but his eyes went cold. "Someone inside provided this." "Someone with executive access," Sang-woo confirmed. "Those security positions change weekly. This is current intel from the last 3 days." Jae-sung looked around the ballroom. At his inner circle. Dae-won. Mi-sun. Elder Kwan. Branch family heads. Trusted associates. One of them was selling him out. We leave. Now. He made apologies to the event organizers, gracious but firm. In the car, silence was heavy. Zara sat beside him, hyper-aware. Every vehicle could be a threat. Every intersection a kill zone. You saved me again, Jae-sung said quietly. That's the job. It's more than that. He turned to her. Most bodyguards would have reported the photographer to venue security. You hunted him, interrogated him, found evidence we didn't even know existed. That's not standard protection. That's intelligence work. She said nothing. Elder Kwan thinks you're something special. Sang-woo thinks you're a threat. Dai-wan thinks you're a weakness. He studied her. What do you think you are? Temporary. Are you? The question hung in the air, loaded, dangerous. 1 month was the deal, Zara said. We're at week 3. And then? I disappear. That was always the plan. What if I offered you something different? Not a job. Not a contract. Something real. Her throat tightened. Real isn't possible for people like me. Why not? Because... She stopped. How could she explain that real meant attachments? Attachments meant vulnerability. Vulnerability meant death. Because I'm not who you think I am. I don't think you're anyone. I know you're someone trying very hard not to be. He leaned back. Whatever you're running from, it's big. Organized, professional. The kind of threat that requires the resources I have. You keep saving my life. Let me help save yours. You don't know what you're offering. Then tell me. She wanted to. God, she wanted to. To unburden herself. To stop carrying the weight alone. To trust someone with the truth. But the truth would destroy him. I can't. He nodded slowly. Disappointed but not surprised. When you're ready, if you're ever ready, the offer stands. They arrived at the compound. Extra security, heightened alert. Everyone watching, everyone. The mole was still out there. And somewhere, Project Echo was closing in. 48 hours after the gala, Jae-sung initiated lockdown. The compound transformed into a fortress. All non-essential personnel evacuated. Only the core team remained. 23 people, 12 with executive access. One of them a traitor. Zara stood in the security center with Sang-woo, reviewing protocols. We need to identify the mole, Sang-woo said. Fast, before they make their move. Set a trap. Zara pulled up the personnel list. Leak different information to each suspect. Whatever detail appears in the next attack reveals the traitor. Dangerous. We're using the boss as bait. He's already bait. We're just controlling the parameters. Sang-woo studied her. You think like an operator, not a bodyguard. Someone trained you for infiltration, intelligence gathering, target elimination. Focus on the mole, not me. They're connected. You show up, suddenly we have internal breaches, professional hits, coordinated attacks. Either you're incredibly unlucky or I'm the target and your boss is collateral. She met his eyes. You're right. I brought this to your door. Let me help clean it up. He was silent for a long moment. If this goes wrong, if the boss dies because of you, I know. You'll kill me. You've mentioned that. I want you to understand. I will. Personally. Painfully. Noted. They crafted 3 false intelligence reports, each with specific details. To day 1, shipment arriving at Port A, Tuesday 3 a.m. to Misun. Meeting with Russian contacts, Wednesday, downtown location. To Elder Kwan, emergency relocation to safe house. Thursday morning, Jae-sung approved the plan. Whoever the information leaks to will be ready. But Zara's instincts screamed. 3 days was too long. The enemy was closer than that. She was right. 3 a.m. Zara was on perimeter patrol when alarms shrieked. Simultaneous breaches at 4 points, coordinated, professional. Military precision. She sprinted to Jae Sung's quarters, found him already awake, weapon in hand. Sang-woo burst through the door seconds later. 12 hostiles, full tactical gear. They're not trying to sneak. This is a direct assault. Echo team, Zara said. She knew their pattern, their efficiency. They're here for me. Gunfire erupted outside. Jae Sung's men engaging, shouting, screaming. We need to move. Now! Zara grabbed Jae Sung's arm. Where? Central courtyard. It's what they want. Open space for extraction. We give it to them, but on our terms. Sang-woo didn't argue. They moved as a unit, through corridors, past windows showing the battle outside. Jae Sung's men were outmatched. These weren't street thugs. These were soldiers. The courtyard was exactly where the enemy wanted them. 12 operatives in black tactical gear formed a perimeter. Weapons raised, but not firing. Extraction formation. The leader removed her helmet. Woman, 40s, scarred face, eyes like winter. She looked at Zara with something almost like affection. Echo 7. Her English was unaccented. International training. Echo 3. You've led us on quite a chase. Zara stepped forward, putting herself between the operatives and Jae Sung. I'm not going back. Back? There is no back. Project Echo evolved. Echo 3 gestured to her team. We're not being retired anymore. We're being redeployed. New identities, new lives, legitimate work for organizations that value our particular skill sets. Legitimacy through servitude, still not free. Freedom is a myth, 7. We were made to be weapons. At least now we're weapons with healthcare and retirement plans. She smiled. Cold. The program wants you back. You have value. Skills, experience, come willingly. And your friends live. Resist. And we're authorized to eliminate obstacles. Jae Sung raised his weapon. She's not going anywhere. Echo 3 barely glanced at him. This doesn't concern you. She works for me, that makes it my concern. She doesn't work for you, she's using you, hiding behind your organization until we found her. Now we have. Transaction complete. 4 operatives moved toward Zara. Coordinated. Professional. She recognized their training, knew their patterns, had fought beside people exactly like them. They were her equal. This was going to hurt. The first operative lunged. Zara sidestepped, redirected, struck the nerve cluster in his shoulder. He grunted but adapted, spinning into a kick. She blocked, but barely. He was fast. Second operative attacked from behind. She sensed him, dropped low, his strike passed overhead. She swept his legs. He rolled, recovered instantly. Third and fourth came simultaneously, high and low. Classic pincer. Zara jumped, twisted in midair. Her feet connected with third's chest, used his body as a springboard to launch into fourth, elbow to his temple. He staggered, but first was back, grappling her from behind. Professional submission hold. She had seconds before passing out. Zara drove her heel into his instep, threw her head back into his nose, felt cartilage crunch. His grip loosened. She spun, drove her palm into his sternum. He went down. Jae Sung's men were engaging the other operatives, gunfire, shouting, chaos. But Zara's world narrowed to the 4 around her. They regrouped, came at her as a unit. No ego, no individual glory, pure efficiency. She couldn't win this. Not against 4 Echo-trained operatives. Not for long. One got close enough to whisper, Echo 7, the program found the black site. We know what you saw. Come back, and we bury it. Keep running, and we expose everything. That revelation cost him his concentration. Zara exploited it. Knee to his solar plexus, followed by elbow strike to his temple. He went down. 3 left. She was bleeding from a cut above her eye, breathing hard, exhausted. They came again. Zara fought with everything she had. But there were 3 of them. She managed to incapacitate two. The third locked her in a submission hold. Professional. Unbreakable. Echo 3 approached. Enough! You've proven your point. You're still one of us. Now come home. I have no home. You do. With the program, with your family, we're the only ones who understand what you are. She crouched to Zara's level. You can't beat us. There are 40 operatives left globally. We'll keep coming, generation after generation, until you submit or die. Zara. Gasping. Then I'll keep fighting. Why? For what? For him? She gestured to Jae-sung. He doesn't know you. Not really. When he learns what you've done, who you've killed, he'll hate you. They always do. Maybe, but that's my choice to make. Something shifted in Echo 3's expression. Surprise. Maybe even respect. You really think you can just choose a different life? After everything we've done? Everything we are? Watch me. Long silence. The courtyard was eerily still. The battle had stopped. Everyone watching. Echo 3 made a decision. Release her. The operative holding Zara hesitated. Ma'am? I said release her. He did. Zara stood, swaying, exhausted, bleeding, but standing. Echo 3 studied her. I'll report that we retired you, that Echo 7 is deceased. Mission complete. She stepped closer. But understand, this is the only mercy you get. If we cross paths again, if you compromise any active operations, I will eliminate you. Personally. Understood. Why are you doing this? Jae-sung asked. First time he'd spoken directly to Echo 3. Because she did something none of us have had the courage to do. She chose herself over the mission. Echo 3 looked at her team. We're leaving. Collect the wounded. No killing. This operation is terminated. The operatives retreated. Professional. In 90 seconds they were gone. Silence descended on the compound. Jae-sung approached Zara. Echo 7. She couldn't meet his eyes. Yes. What else haven't you told me? Everything. The truth. All of it. The weight of 4 years of running, of lies, of desperate survival. Everything, she whispered. Dawn broke over Seoul. The compound was damaged but secure. Jae-sung's men were wounded but alive. The threat was gone. For now. Zara sat on the rooftop garden, blood cleaned from her face. Exhaustion bone deep. She'd been awake for 36 hours. Jae-sung found her there, sat beside her, said nothing. They watched the sun rise over the city. Echo 7, he finally said. That's what they called you. Yes. Tell me. So she did. All of it. The truth she'd buried for 4 years. My name, my real name, was Amanda Williams. I was 11 years old when they took me. Refugee camp. War-torn region. My parents were dead. Or so they told me. Now I think they were killed. Easier to acquire an orphan with no family searching. She described Project Echo. The training. 6 years of conditioning. Combat. Languages. Intelligence gathering. Psychological manipulation, turning children into weapons. First deployment at 17, target elimination in Eastern Europe, then Southeast Asia, Middle East, Africa. 4 continents. 13 confirmed missions. Extractions. Eliminations. Intelligence gathering. Things that officially never happened. Jae-sung listened. Silent. His face unreadable. Age 23, there was a sole deployment. Target was an arms dealer. Meeting with local syndicate heads. I was positioned as sniper. Half-mile out. Clean shot lined up. Her voice cracked. There was collateral damage. Someone was in the wrong place. The target's security reacted. Chaos. And a syndicate head's son was killed in the crossfire. Silence. His name was Min Tae-hyun. He was 19 years old. He was your younger brother. Jae-sung went completely still. I didn't know who he was. Didn't see his face until after. Just another casualty. Acceptable losses. That's what they told me. Tears finally came. But I couldn't accept it. Couldn't bury it. That night, I was ordered to eliminate witnesses. Clean up the mission. Instead, I ran. She wiped her eyes. They erased my records. Hunted me. Not because I failed, because I refused to complete the mission. I knew too much, had access to too much classified information. I became a liability. 4 years, 50 countries, dozens of identities, running from the organization that made me, from the guilt, from myself. She looked at him. When you hired me, I didn't know who you were. I'd never seen your face, only your brother's. Only after did I realize. And by then you'd already decided to stay, Jae-sung finished. Yes. Long, agonizing silence. I should hate you, Jae-sung said finally. His voice was hollow. For 5 years, I've hunted for answers, spent millions investigating my brother's death, built entire intelligence networks trying to find who was responsible. And the person who killed him has been saving my life. I know. My brother died because our family was in business with arms dealers, because my grandfather prioritized profit over safety, because we existed in a world where violence is currency. He turned to her. You pulled the trigger, but the weapon was loaded by the same system that tried to kill you. We're both victims of it. That doesn't absolve me. No, but it contextualizes it. He stood, looked out over Seoul. For 5 years I've carried rage, grief, the need for revenge, and now I finally have a target. Someone to blame. Someone standing right here. Zara stood as well. Then do it. Kill me. I won't fight back. Maybe that's the resolution we both need. He actually laughed. Bitter. Exhausted. You think I could? After everything? After you've saved my life 3 times, after I've seen you fight for survival with everything you have, after I've watched you try to become human again? Then what? Then we figure it out. Together. He faced her. Because the person who killed my brother was following orders from an organization that destroyed both our lives. You're not Echo 7 anymore. And I'm not the man who let grief consume him for 5 years. We're both trying to be someone different. I don't know who Amanda Williams was supposed to be. Then figure it out here. With people who know your worst truth and choose you anyway. The program will come again. Let them. We'll be ready. She searched his eyes, found something impossible. Forgiveness. Acceptance. Maybe even, why? She whispered. Why would you do this? Because my brother would have wanted me to. He believed in redemption, in second chances, in mercy over revenge. Jae-sung stepped closer, and because I can't imagine my life without you in it now, professionally or otherwise. The unspoken confession hung in the air. Zara felt something crack inside her. 4 years of armor, of emotional distance, of surviving by feeling nothing. It shattered. I don't deserve this, she said. Don't deserve you. Don't deserve forgiveness. Probably not, but you have it anyway. They stood inches apart, the city waking below. The sun warm on their faces. Jae-sung reached up, gently touched the cut above her eye. You're bleeding. I've had worse. I know. His thumb traced her cheekbone. But you don't have to anymore. Not alone. The moment stretched, charged, inevitable. He leaned in. She didn't move away. His lips almost touched hers. Boss! Sang-woo burst onto the rooftop. We found the mole! They broke apart. The spell shattered. Sang-woo didn't seem to notice the tension. Day 1. We traced communications. He's been coordinating with the program for 3 months. Gave them your schedule. Security layouts, everything. Jae-sung's expression shifted, grief to rage in seconds. Where is he? Private office. Locked himself in when he realized we knew. Bring him. Daewon sat in the main hall, surrounded by security. He looked defiant. Cornered. Jae-sung entered. Zara hung back, watching. Why? Jae-sung's voice was quiet. Dangerous. Why? Daewon laughed. Because you're weak. Because you chose that foreign woman over family. Over blood. Over everything grandfather built. The program approached you. 3 months ago. Offered to eliminate you if I helped them track her. I didn't know she'd become important to you. I thought she was just another employee. Another mistake. His eyes found Zara. I didn't know she'd seduce you, make you forget your responsibility to this family. I chose her over nothing. I chose competence over prejudice, loyalty over bloodline. You chose a ghost, a weapon, someone who doesn't even have a real name. Daewon stood. And now look at us. Our compound is damaged. Our men are wounded. All because you couldn't let her go. All because you betrayed us, Sang-woo interjected coldly. I saved us, or tried to, before she destroyed everything. Jae-sung was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was final. You're exiled, stripped of all family assets, all titles, all protections. As of now, you're dead to the Chongryong Syndicate. You're choosing her over blood, Daewon hissed. Grandfather would be ashamed. Grandfather would be ashamed of you for selling out family for power, for working with enemies, for putting pride over loyalty. Jae-sung gestured to security. Remove him. He has 2 hours to leave Seoul. After that, he's a hostile target. Daewon left, escorted, defiant to the end. Elder Kwon approached Jae-sung. You made the right choice. Family isn't just blood, it's trust, loyalty, shared purpose. He was my cousin. He was a traitor. There's a difference. The room emptied. Only Jae-sung, Zara, and Sang-woo remained. Sang-woo looked at Zara. I was wrong about you. You're not a threat. You're an asset. Maybe the most valuable one we have. I'm a person, not an asset. Fair. He almost smiled. Welcome to the family, officially. He left. Jae-sung turned to Zara. So, what now? Now. She took a breath. Now we have a takeover to plan. He raised an eyebrow. Takeover? Daewon had support. Branches of the family that agreed with him, they'll move against you within weeks. She stepped closer. So we move first. Consolidate power. Eliminate threats. Show everyone that the Chongryong Syndicate is stronger than ever. We? She met his eyes. I'm not running anymore, I'm staying. If you'll have me. In what capacity? The question was loaded, professional, personal. Everything. Whatever capacity you need. Bodyguard, enforcer, partner. She hesitated. Friend? Just friend? The air between them crackled. I don't know how to be more than that, she admitted. I've spent years being no one. I don't know how to be someone's anything. Then we figure it out. Together. No pressure. No expectations. Just... He reached for her hand. Just real. Whatever that means. She took his hand. Felt warmth. Connection. Possibility. Okay. Okay. They stood in the damaged hall, surrounded by the aftermath of violence, of betrayal, of truth finally spoken. The sun was fully up now. A new day. A new beginning. Zara smiled. For the first time in 4 years, genuinely. So, that takeover? Jae-sung laughed. Let's plan it. Thank you for watching till the end. If this story touched you, inspired you, or took you on a journey, don't leave without hitting the like button. Subscribe if you haven't, and switch your notifications on. You don't want to miss what I got coming up. Make sure to drop in the comment section where in the world you're watching from. We're building a global community of story lovers here, and your voice is part of it. See you in the next one. Have a great day.